All right, welcome to Found Footage Friday. Hell House LLC 2, the Abanddon Hotel, not the Abandoned
The
Hotel,
abandoned
even though it is
Abaddon.
abandoned.
Yes.
The Abandoned Abanddon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so now this one is available on Screenbox, but because it's found footage, it's on Tubi too.
Tubi.
It's on Tubi as well. But Screenbox. Any chance I get to use the app, which we got it for super cheap. What did I
Yes.
pay? I paid like $10 or something for like 6 months. Something
Yeah.
insane.
Something super, super
There's
cheap.
a renewal coming up on it pretty soon here. Um, Not really something I'm apt to want to keep, to be honest, because the biggest issue with Screenbox is that the thing that the app's not available on anything. I can't.
Yeah.
We only have it on our Roku TV. We can't
And
get it
our
on our Apple TV. We can't get it on our other smart TVs.
right.
I can't get it on anything.
It's so weird, but
It's
it's
not on my
really
Xbox, not on
limited.
my PlayStation, not my Xbox One, not my Xbox Series S, not my PlayStation 4 or 5.
Not my
Like,
Nintendo DS.
I can't get it on anything. It's like completely useless. Like if it wasn't for that app on my TV, I'd be like, cool, I have it, but I can't watch it. It'd have to be on the computer or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is that's just not okay. So Screenbox, you got to get more. You got to get more app providers. Otherwise,
Yes.
your app is completely pointless.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's an app. It's a streaming app, but there's no apps, so it's just screaming. It's just me screaming for you to put more
That's
on
why
it.
it's called Screambox.
Yeah,
You
because
scream
I'm
at the
screaming
box.
at the box. I'm screaming at the TV. Where is your app?
Yes.
Okay, so um, this movie is kind of a it's definitely not a rehash of the first movie. It does try to do some of its same scares, but man, this is so inferior to the first. It is very sad because I do think the first one is really cool,
Yeah.
and this is the same director writer, and I honestly just don't understand how there's such a dip in quality. And I think I would attribute that the most to characters
Mm-hmm.
and how much I really don't like the acting,
Hmm.
but two, just the characterizations.
Yeah, I for some reason thought that I liked the sequels like a decent amount. I don't know why. I don't remember the next one, but this one,
Oh, I do.
rewatching it, I was definitely disappointed because it is super inferior. And I agree with you. I think that the acting and the characters themselves are what make it not great.
Yeah.
It's very, they feel very unbelievable. Like one of the things that we talked about with the first one is
Yeah.
how authentic the friend group felt and like the atmosphere and everything, and it had a nice believability to it, and the mockumentary worked really well as far as like the style went. But with this one, I just felt like there's certain scenes, like there's one scene when they introduced the blonde reporter girl and her friend who we really don't like her acting.
Molly.
Like that scene where they introduce them
Molly's
feels
the friend we don't like.
yeah,
Sorry.
it feels cut in. It feels forced. It feels really forced. Like cuz they're doing like the talk show and then it like cuts to them recording and like talking.
It's so
It's
unnatural.
so awkward and
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff like that where I just was like, this is very, it takes you out of the found footage aspect, which I think is like one of obviously the strong suits of the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, not to be a broken record here on this, but this is Found Footage Friday, and we are specifically talking about found footage every week, or mockumentary Monday,
Oh.
Found Footage Friday. No,
We got Monster Monday.
um, but the thing that I keep talking about, whether it's a positive or a negative towards these films, it always gets brought up, and it's because of, once again, how important it is. With the mockumentary found footage thing, you live and die by your realism, right? And the movie doesn't have to remain real to feel real.
Yeah.
Right? You can have paranormal stuff, you can have monsters, you can have all that. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you put in your film as far as like the subject matter. That all is fair game. It's the believability of the characters, of the performances, of the dialogue. All that stuff has to feel natural. That's the most important thing when it comes to found footage, period, in my opinion. Because the whole gimmick is that these are real people, right? Like when you're watching a movie and there's bad acting, you're like, oh, this person's just a bad actor, right? But it's still a film to you. But when you're watching found footage, it's not a character you're supposed to be watching, right? So like you know that in a movie that's an actor playing a character. But the found footage thing, even though in the very back of your mind, you know you're watching a movie. Of course, it's the same thing technically. So we are splitting hairs to a degree here, but the aspect of found footage will always remain the same, that I'm supposed to believe that these aren't actors.
Yeah.
That these are real people. Right? In these situations. As I said, this is almost splitting hairs. This is almost semantics at this point, because I know that's what a movie's trying to convey, that any movie you watch, they're trying to be real characters. But with found footage, it's just, there is that one, it's that one step removed from like reality, because of like how many steps you are away from reality while watching like the Avengers. But found footage is supposed to be like just one tiny step away from reality.
Yeah.
And it's as close to reality as you can get. That's the feel.
Yeah.
And so if that doesn't work in a found footage film, your film is lost. There's only been a few movies that have ever been able to have horrendous acting that doesn't feel natural that I still enjoyed. The Fear Footage 2 is one of those movies that has the most horrid acting, but the atmosphere is so solid that I'm like, I still really enjoy this. So it can happen. It's just very rare. And in this film, oh my good God, nothing feels natural from anybody. From anybody. This reminds me, so The Sandlot's something I grew up on, and I've seen a million times, as much, as many people my age have. And every character in that movie, the way that the chemistry and the camaraderie and all that, it all just has this feel to it, and it's wonderful. The second film is written and directed by the same guy, and they bring in a new cast of kids. And all the dialogue's stale. All the performances are super forced. There's no chemistry with any of the kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did the same guy make this movie? Like, how do you strike gold on one and then you have nothing? I mean, I'm sure that there's behind the scenes stuff, because we haven't made movies on this level, where it's like, sometimes you're gifted with this amazing like chemistry between people. And then sometimes you're not.
Yeah.
And you kind of just got to work with what you got.
Right.
But it's staggering, the like distance between the two.
Yeah.
And this for me is like that. It's just, we watch it and nothing feels. I'm not going to say that performances in the first one are amazing. They just feel natural, and that's all these need to have, really, to be successful.
I feel like, isn't that the job of like the casting director, to make sure that your actors have?
It's the job of a lot of people.
I know that there's other elements that they're looking for, but it's like, I feel like one of those is obviously chemistry between characters, and
It depends on a lot of factors. Obviously, you got the casting director, you've got the director, and you've got the actors themselves. So take a movie like The Lighthouse, right, with Defoe and Pattinson. And because they knew that they were going to have this claustrophobic thing going on, and they were going to be sharing a screen together, and it was going to be just them for primarily the entire film, and they knew it hinged upon their chemistry and their banter and all of this stuff. They I don't remember how long it was, but Pattinson and Defoe like locked themselves in a room together for like a long time, like days, if not weeks, and just developed their chemistry and their characters
Yeah.
together. And fuck, does it show? When you watch that, there is something magnetic about them together. And that's not only, Robert Eggers is a great director, and these are obviously, I mean, these are two amazing actors. So it's hard to compare, but it's that commitment. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to know this person, and I'm gonna really get to know how much I annoy this person, and
Well,
like,
and it's hard too, I feel like, because the other part is that I don't really like the writing in this.
nope, not at all.
So it's like, I think even if the actors are like, I'm gonna come, I'm gonna bring my A game, I want to get to know the character and my, co-stars and everything. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, right? Like, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. And with this one, I think the writing, it's it just doesn't work for me. It does,
No.
like, I don't like where they take this story. I feel like things are shoehorned into it. Like, everything with the owner being like on the board, like, I think in concept it could have been cool, maybe, to have, like, because obviously the thing from the first one is that she's still, she's like leaving Hell House. She's leaving the Abanddon and going out in the world and interacting with people.
Yeah.
So she's like a demon. And so I like that, there could be other demons that are going out, but he's not even like trying to bring people in. He's just trying to like discredit the story that it's evil, which kind of goes against what I feel like they would be doing, because it seems like the whole point is to bring more people in.
But I disagree with that, because I think he's going on TV to create that kind of like dickhead guy that's like, oh, there's nothing here. And then that makes a lot of kids want to like prove him wrong by showing up.
Or maybe even it's like he's trying to make it seem like a nice place so that they can get
more people
sold. And
yeah,
like,
sure.
Whatever.
Or that.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
But I just don't really like, I don't know. I just don't really like it. I think I thought it felt forced.
So obviously the biggest issue I probably have with the film is that it, outside of that realism issue, is that like the film tries to be more grand and like bigger. It's trying to incorporate this idea of like the gates to hell, and there's too much going on in that regard. It's like with movies like this, keep it simple, right? Yeah. Focus on the atmosphere, focus on the scares. You don't it gets too convoluted.
Yeah.
It doesn't need all of this like, plot. Right? Like that's not I get it. As a writer, right? That's what happens. This is always what happens to franchises. I've figured this out through the years. With the Halloween franchise, with any of these franchises. People sit down to write, and they're writers, and they want to come up with a story. Yeah. And as a storyteller, they want to tell the story, right? So that's like their job, is to sit down and craft a story. And a lot of horror is most effective when the story is super simple.
Yes.
And horror it doesn't work as well when it's overly explained. It has to remain ambiguous. Right. It has to remain in the recesses of your mind, where you're like digging deep to try to like put things together yourself. And there's like this people fear what they don't know.
Well, and there's
right,
also
and when you explain and you over-explain, it's like, I'm this guy and I lured you here to send you to hell and all that.
I know.
It's like,
I just thought it was lame.
This is so lame.
Because it's like there's also the element of like you project your fears, right? So it's like whatever you're afraid of, like the more ambiguous a film is, and in the good way of ambiguous, not the like I don't know what's happening, the easier it is for you to become more afraid, I feel like, because you're like, oh, what if it's this? Like, what if it's this thing that I don't like or whatever?
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think that this one is like overly plot heavy. Like, there's just, and what you were saying, like, it's like if they had focused on the atmosphere, I think the scares are really bad in this one too. Like,
Yeah.
compared to the first one, if they had focused on the atmosphere, the scares, and then for me, the characters, and had more, like, less of the weird talk show banter. Like, I don't like any of that.
We
I
can get rid of
really don't
the
like that
whole
at
talk
all.
show thing.
Yeah,
Can
I feel like
go.
all that can
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And instead just be like, he's going in there because he wants to, like, even him reaching out to them. I don't even know their names, but like reaching out to these other journalists to be like, can you come in there? Like, we need to find out what happened to, my coworker. Like, even that would have been fine, but I just feel like everything outside of it is, there is one scare that we both like in this. It's not like a jump scare or anything, but there is one effective thing when one of the live streamers goes in there and he like stands in one spot for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because it's subtle and simple. And it's effective.
Yeah, he just stands there until his camera dies.
Yeah.
And he says something like, sorry, I'll leave now, but then just continues to keep standing there and looking at this thing's feet, and they keep standing there for like hours.
It's fucking scary because it's
That's
like,
creepy.
It's like, what is he seeing? Is he hallucinating? Is he like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think if there was more stuff like that, of course.
I mean, I like it in theory. Like when I watch it, it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't really understand how it exactly applies. Because nobody else has this effect on them. So I don't know if there's like he's just like super simple-minded or whatever, but it doesn't seem to play within the rules of the first film for sure, because everyone is like scared and running, and when they see ghosts, they are like freaked out and run away.
Right.
This guy like sees him, he's like, sorry, I'll leave, and then just continues to keep standing there. It's creepy, and I like it, but when I think about the first film, and even this film, that doesn't happen ever again with anybody. They all just like see stuff and try to run away. They're scared, whatever. So I don't know why this guy got entranced, but he did. So that is what it is. But I don't want to harp on all that too much. It is what it is. As you can tell, we're not huge on it, but like we want to give reasons as well. And I probably go into a whole mess of other things about why this didn't work. But let's just talk about like some scenes in the movie, and we'll move on. But it is a bummer of a film for sure for us, because the first one is so good.
Yeah.
And then if I was to like do this plot personally, if I was to like be hired to write the sequel, I would have probably went the route of like, something. This is kind of tired. I probably would come up with, if you gave me more than 10 seconds, like I'm giving myself right now on the spot, I probably could come up with something cooler. But I would probably do something along the lines of like, I really want to know what happened that night. I want to take a film crew in there, and I want to investigate, because they're not releasing the footage, right? What really happened that night? Why are they holding the footage from the public? Whatever. And you have like one person trying to track down the footage of the last movie, and another crew of people who go into the Abanddon to like seek it out because, whatever, there's someone they loved or something was there that night and got killed. And so they're like, they can't let it go, and they get like really obsessed with it. And when they go in there, they start seeing like, members of the crew in there, and they're like, they're alive, that kind of stuff. That, and just make it more the haunted house thing.
Yes, it needs to be more haunted house, because I like the idea, which they kind of, I think, if I remembered, sort of do this in 3, like in a way where it's like somebody's going back in and trying to use the space again.
Do another haunt.
Do another haunt. But I don't know how you would do this like into the story, but I think it would be cool if somebody like buys it and it's like, I'm going to open a hotel up again. I'm going to make it into a hotel. And then they start seeing like...
And do things through security cameras.
Yeah, security cameras and like
people
guests
who
staying
come who are
there,
looking
and
for
it's like
paranormal activity.
the liminal space where like timelines are bleeding through, and I think that would be cool. But yes, the haunted house aspect is what works the very best.
I love the idea of it being owned and opened as a hotel, like in The Shining or whatever. It's an
Right.
actual functioning hotel, and people go to stay there.
Yeah.
And then come to paranormal investigate. And then you could even have scenes where like they walk out of their room, and even though like the place is all nice and new and like has been revamped, refurbished and everything, like they go out in the night to like go through like the hallway or something. When they come out, it's like how it was in the last movie,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, what the
I love that.
that
think
kind
that
of
would
stuff.
Be cool.
That would be so cool.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this, no. This is 8 years after the first one. As far as how many years it has been since the actual film, I didn't look, but supposedly within the film, it's been 8 years. This character Jackson, who was like playing the like the tune, the music, yeah, he was playing that as a kid. And said something about like in 2009 the hotel opens or whatever. I don't know. That doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really play into anything. It just kind of.
feel like
it's like there to be kind of creepy, but then I don't know.
I feel like he dies, so I don't know. I think it would have been creepier if it was like one of the main characters, and like they find out later, like, holy shit, like young me knew. Or something. Like, I think that would work better. But
the guy that's in the opening, who's like 40, and his mom is like, he's missing. I'm like, bro, why is your mom the same age as you? I don't understand that one. I was super confused on that. There couldn't have been much of an age gap between mom and son there. The kid that did go stand there at the stairs until his phone died, he went to go investigate. He gets there, he looks at it, the door opens on its own, and he still goes inside. There's no way.
No. He says something too, because he's like, the only reason I'm doing this is like for you guys or whatever.
I don't care.
Or like, I wouldn't do this if you guys weren't here,
yeah,
kind of a thing. But yeah, that's because
well, another problem is too, which just makes zero sense to me, is that he is in a live stream. He sits there until the phone dies, which they said is like hours. No one called the police at any point during he was live streaming.
Froze, which it didn't, but like even if you thought it like froze or something, but then like him not coming back online or whatever, you would reach out. He's in like a dangerous location.
It is his hands are probably moving a little bit because he can't stand like, perfectly still, so they don't think it's a frozen screen.
No.
Someone would call the police. They know exactly where he is. It's not like you went to some it's not like in Deadstream where he's like, you don't know where I'm at, but it's a haunted place. They know it's the Abanddon Hotel.
Yeah,
right. So someone would have called. Someone would have called. That I don't really honestly care. I was just that's one of those things we point out for fun. It doesn't bother me. Like if the movie was good, that would not even be a problem. And the hitchhiker stuff is okay. The girl who died there, she gets in the car. Her in the car with the gay guys thing is
it's
okay. But when she's in the basement and they run into her, her face and all that is good.
Her face is good. Her face is scary.
Yeah.
The makeup's pretty good still. I mean, it's okay. It's
pretty good. It's not fantastic, but it's okay.
I like that concept. See, I think that's cool. Like
that's more like
a person who died on the.
It's like an urban legend.
Yeah. I thought that was neat.
Yeah. They bring the psychic in with them. Very grave encounters. The psychic, he dies. His cameraman and him die in about
like 2 seconds.
0.2 seconds.
They like go in and they bust out a Ouija board or something.
And they're just dead.
And
And
they're
that
just
girl
fucking
that was in
dead.
the basement is like staring at them. That was cool.
That
When the
was
cameraman
cool.
pans and she's there and she's staring at him and she
Yeah.
pans up and she
I
stands up and
agree.
he's like, "We're out of here."
That girl just looks scary in
She
the
does look
makeup that they
scary.
do. She does like the intense eyes. So that works well.
Mm-hmm. She's
That works
good.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a good addition for sure. I don't hate everything about this.
No,
This one's like
it's
okay-ish, but not really good.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, when Molly stayed with the car, I was so excited because I really genuinely hate to harp on things like this, but I thought her acting was easily the worst. The way she like tries to show like that she's flustered or anything, and she's like, "No, guys."
It just
That stuff, I'm like, oh my god.
It reminded
no.
me. It just felt kind of like a new actor.
Sure.
You know.
I don't want to harp on
I
the
know,
actor.
but
I hate that.
It sucked though. It did, and
It
it sucks to say things like that because we hate it.
But I feel like that's
But
partially
that's
the director's fault, right? You got to have that performance and be like, cut,
yes,
Molly.
like,
Okay, I need you to bring it down a bit.
Yeah.
And then you do it again. You cut. I'm still not buying it.
Like the stuff with her and her boyfriend when they're at the like bar, that stuff felt okay to me.
Yeah.
Like they had pretty okay chemistry.
Showing emotion.
She is, but she's like teasing him.
It's more playful.
It's more playful, and it's like they kind of annoyed me as a couple though, because he was like, she hated tattoos before me, and I was just like, I don't know, it was just weird. They're like, but that was fine. But it's like just other scenes that we were like, why? So yeah.
One of the most ridiculous scenes in the movie, if not the most ridiculous scene in the entire film that actually made me laugh out loud, is I think it's the psychics, but they like do something and they're in a room and they like look, there's nothing, then they like say something and they look this way, and then when they turn back, nooses have appeared from the ceiling. Just out of thin air, nooses appear, to which they respond, "That's a little unsettling."
Bro.
That's a little unsettling. They deserve to die. I hate to say it, but I am 100% honest about that. I really genuinely believe that they deserve to die.
I mean, yeah.
If you saw fucking nooses appear from the ceiling
and you're just like,
in a haunted
unsettling
building where people have supposedly died and you have footage and that's why you're there, and nooses fall out of the ceiling after you've said something and you don't immediately leave, even if you think it's a gag or like people are playing something, you leave. Nooses fall from the fucking ceiling with no explanation for it at all. They literally appear out of the ceiling. There's no way they could appear in any other way. They just they're like ghost nooses that fall from the ceiling, and they literally just say, "Well, that's a little unsettling." The
psychic was so cocky in this, because like for part of it too, I was like, he's fake. Like he knows he's fake, right? Like he's just doing this for like attention and like whatever. And then they get there, and he like after he sees the nooses, I think that's when they bring out the Ouija board, and I'm like, oh, so he's
an idiot.
He's just an idiot. Yeah.
Right, like at least the Grave Encounters guys, and that's kind of the gimmick of the movie, which I love. I mean, Grave Encounters is definitely a top 10 found footage ever for me. And what's so great about the film is that they know they're frauds. It's very obvious that they're frauds. That's actually a gimmick I quite like in these movies. Last Exorcism's another one, like Cotton goes there to expose exorcisms for the shams that they are.
Sure.
And then of course, they find out what they don't believe in, they should believe in.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. And in this one, it does feel like he's in on the gag, but then you're right. I feel like he's just an idiot. Yeah. It's like I think he does believe himself, but like how? When you're
literally how?
How like when nooses appear from the sky, you got to go.
Yeah. Because we don't see any like actual proof that he's a psychic or whatever. Like if there was like some proof that he dealt with like spirits and weird shit all the time, but there's not, and he just is like totally because that would be like this, like going to Hell House, going to Abanddon would be like a level 10 psychic job.
Yeah.
And he feels like maybe like a 1 or a 2.
I feel like
I can guess what number you're thinking of.
I feel like if they ever write a manual on like psychics' jobs, and you were like to go through the manual as you were like working through getting that job, like one of the requirements should be like, if nooses appear from the ceiling, leave the building immediately.
Yeah.
And not that anyone should be
like,
have to be told that,
but like it should be like sage won't work. Like if nooses appear, if a corporeal weapon shows up, like you're fucked. Just go.
Just leave.
Just leave.
Yeah. They don't.
They don't. They
don't.
Die.
I feel like the writer of this took the title of the film like too seriously, and they were like, "This is the hell house. this house has to go to hell now."
It's like Jason Goes to Hell, but with a house.
It literally has to be like, I gotta make this house go to hell. People have to end up in hell in this house.
Yeah, that's what happens.
It's in the title.
Guess we should have.
But they got to go get a limited liability company first.
File their 1065s.
Yeah, that's what Kaylee does.
No. File anything.
And oh yeah, there's a weird line in here. I don't know if this just means like they're never seen again after this hotel.
Yeah, this makes no sense.
But they talk about Brock, who's the psychic, and his cameraman.
Yeah.
And right after that happens, after like the girl, they get up and they're like, okay, we're out of here. And they turn around and she's in the hallway, which is effective. That's a cool scene.
Yeah.
It literally like text appears on the screen and it's like Brock and his cameraman are never seen again. Then like a minute later, they're literally seen again in the next footage as the guys walk into the room and they're hanging from those nooses. I'm like, there they are.
Which, because I don't understand why that text is even there, because this one doesn't get compiled as a mockumentary, right? How do we even have this footage?
I don't care about any of that. That's,
but I just mean, like, why would there even be that there? This is just like the raw footage that we're seeing.
No, this is a mockumentary somehow.
Okay, well, yeah, that's weird.
I forgot to mention the texts that are between the mom and the son in the beginning, where she just keeps getting, they have no eyes, they have no eyes.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
It was cool.
It was a good atmosphere setter,
yeah.
But it didn't really pay off.
Yeah.
Because everyone in this movie has eyes, correct? Like, do we see someone without eyes?
I don't think so, but
I could be wrong, but
I could be wrong too.
I don't remember. Yeah, they have no eyes. Bullshit. Just like Brock and the cameraman are never seen again. Bullshit. We see him like 2 minutes later, and everyone has eyes. Why is this movie lying to us?
People have extra eyes.
At least they didn't lie about it being a hell house.
No, they were really upfront about that.
They really lying. You want to see our cat's butthole? She's here to show it to you.
Show it. Aw, little bean.
She's like, I shit this movie out.
Bro.
Want to see where it came from. The clown in the open door, like tempting them to leave.
That's scary.
That was cool.
But that's like, yeah, I mean, that clown is a scary dude.
But he turns his head. I think.
I liked that.
That's cool. Too. I'll tell you this right now, and I know a lot of people say, oh, this is what I do. And it's like, yeah, right. Would you? I'm gonna tell you this. I'm positive on this. At this point in this story, if I was stupid enough to go into the Abanddon hotel and I saw an open door with a big clown standing in front of it, just kind of prop here, I would have rushed that motherfucker like a linebacker.
I feel like if
the door would have closed before I got there, but it was open for a while.
If everybody ran at him,
I mean, he's supernatural, but I'm just telling you, my natural instinct is when I saw it, I was like, oh, I'd rush him so hard.
Yeah.
I would tackle him outside to just get outside. Then let's fight. Right?
I feel like he
probably die. I probably get taken down by the clown, but at least I'm outside. No. At least I got a chance.
No, I don't feel like this clown fights.
He just kills.
No, I don't. I mean, like, I just feel like he's there to be scary. I don't feel like he does anything.
Maybe. Can you not be in the footage, please?
He wanted to be in the
She's like
fun.
blocking half your
That's
friggin'
okay.
Yeah.
She and I are interchangeable.
Interchangeable. Okay, next time I'm gonna do the review with her.
Oh,
I'll mic her up and she'll be like,
she'd be gone. She'd just leave.
Yeah, she wouldn't though. I'd tie her to the chair. Like,
oh my god. Freaking the rack.
Yes. And then her neck would just start.
No, stop it. I don't like this anymore. You're not putting her cat in a saw trap.
No. Okay. And oh my God. Once again, another movie with a weak ass door charge. Where they do this in Grave Encounters and it's ridiculous. But this guy's like, the door closes and they can't get through it. And he's like, here, let me do it. And he's like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah.
He's like, that sucked. And I was like, it did.
It did suck.
It really sucked. Bro, I get it.
Suck.
It's a prop door or whatever. And you can't damage the property or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like you could sell it better.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It was.
If you're going to hit a door.
Wimpy.
If you're going to hit a door. You better hit that
especially
thing.
Something where you're like getting supernaturally trapped into a hell.
Yeah.
You would be like,
I weigh 225 pounds. I could hit a door with some serious momentum and weight.
Yeah.
And unless that thing was like double bolted, had like 3 men on the other side of it, I'm coming through. I'm coming through. I'm going right through that clown and I'm going right through that door.
Yep.
Now, these guys aren't as big as me. I'm not saying they are, but that was the weakest ass door charge I've seen in a while. You got to give it your all, dude. Even if you're 50 pounds, even if you got to really give it like everything you got,
as much as you can.
He was just like, he like did a shoulder shrug against the door, and he's like, I hit it with all my power. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I said Alexis acting is worse.
Alex's acting.
Oh, Alex! I put it for some reason.
Yes, yeah, because there's some flashback scenes.
There are
we get
flashbacks.
With Alex,
Yeah, Alex,
and he's very off in this as well.
Alex, yeah, the guy who plays Alex is good in the first movie.
Yeah,
he's horrible here. I don't know what happened.
It's honestly, it just is like that plot stuff where they're just like.
Forced.
Yeah, and it's like you're being controlled to come to Hell House and join the Hell Army.
Because they're like, most of them are in the next movie.
Yeah.
Like the original crew shows up in the next film.
Oh, yeah.
Like as ghosts or whatever.
Right.
We do get a little reference, some ghost whispers like Sleep Sweet.
Oh, yeah, we get that.
Which.
Creepy.
Little nod to
Sleep
the original. A dude literally gets dragged to hell in this.
Yeah.
This movie should have been called Drag Me to Hell, but I think it was taken.
Probably.
And much better.
Drag Me to Hell House.
The voice change of Melissa felt very Alan Wake. Yeah, Arnold is the guy who's, really the owner of he's Andrew Tully. We find that out by him calling and being like, I was in an accident. You're right though.
I don't like anything at the end.
I really hate the interview, TV show thing.
Yeah.
I don't like anything in those scenes.
No.
Any lines everything feels so forced. The girl who's like doing the, she's the host or whatever.
Yeah.
She just is so stale, so forced. And I want to make sure people understand. I really don't know if it's the actors. So if you're a good actor and you were in this, then awesome. I want to see something you did good in. But I don't know who to blame here.
Yeah.
But man, a lot of that was forced. I don't like anything with that. And as you said, I don't like anything with the ending. Once they're all like tied in the tree to the table, to the
and
chairs.
Alex and what's his face are there too, and I'm just like, I don't know. It just all feels really lame and weird and like melodramatic.
Yeah.
Like very melodramatic. So I'm not a fan of it.
No. And yeah, it's all just too much. As I said, it's just too much.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then Jessica, who's our main blonde girl that you were referring to. In the end, we find out, nope, she's just the Sarah
Yep.
of this movie, and she's luring people there. Like,
Yep.
hey, let's go, coppers.
Like, you should go.
Yeah, and then like they walk in front of her, and her face is like,
Yeah, I don't like that. That was creepy.
it's pretty creepy. It's good.
So there's like
there's
a couple.
yeah, there's things.
So like I know I was like I hate the scares in this, but like when we went through it, like there's a couple like okay stuff in here, but it's just not good enough to make up for any of the other like.
There's a couple
bad.
okay stuff.
Yeah, there's a couple. Sorry, I'm tired.
You were gonna go through that like it didn't happen.
I'm a couple. I'm
all
a couple
sorts.
tired. Is what I was about to say too. I'm a little tired. Whatever.
All right.
Hell House.
Hell House LLC 2. They did indeed go to hell in this house.
Time to abandon the Abanddon.
So that's that. All right. Well, if you want to watch it, you know where to watch it. Tubi, Screambox, you got it. So until next week, just kidding. Saturday is Stephen King Saturday, and we got a bunch. We got so much shit coming up.
And other stuff tonight that you'll be seeing because we're doing this all watch party and Texas Chainsaw Massacre game watch party or play party. I don't know.
Stuff.
Some stuff.
All right, guys.